The 2024 US presidential election has concluded, etching a decisive result onto the fabric of American history. Donald J. Trump, the 45th president, will once again occupy the Oval Office. His victory over incumbent Vice President Kamala Harris marks a stunning comeback, defying poll predictions and reigniting the flames of political division across the nation. As the dust settles on a bitterly fought campaign, America prepares for a second Trump presidency, a prospect met with a mixture of anticipation and apprehension. This election cycle was characterized by stark contrasts, reflecting the deep polarization that has come to define American society. Trump, the populist firebrand, tapped into a wellspring of support among his loyal base, who view him as a champion of their values and a bulwark against perceived threats to their way of life. Harris, representing the Democratic establishment, campaigned on a platform of unity and progress, promising to heal the wounds of division and lead America towards a more equitable future. The electoral map told a story of two Americas. Trump's message resonated strongly in rural areas and industrial heartlands, while Harris found her support concentrated in urban centers and coastal regions. The Electoral College, a system often criticized for its complexities, ultimately tipped the scales in Trump's favor, solidifying his return to the White House. As the news of Trump's victory spread, celebrations erupted among his supporters, who saw in his return a validation of their beliefs and a rejection of the political establishment. Meanwhile, Harris's camp grappled with disappointment and uncertainty, left to ponder the factors that led to their defeat and the path forward for their party. The nation, deeply divided, now faces the daunting task of reconciling itself with the outcome of this historic election. Trump's victory, while unexpected by many analysts and pollsters, was the culmination of a calculated campaign strategy that effectively tapped into the anxieties and aspirations of a significant segment of the American electorate. His message, focused on economic nationalism, immigration restriction, and a return to traditional values, resonated with voters who felt left behind by globalization, alienated by rapid social change, and disillusioned by the political establishment. One key factor in Trump's success was his ability to mobilize his base. His rallies, characterized by fiery rhetoric and a carnival-like atmosphere, drew massive crowds and generated an infectious enthusiasm among his supporters. He effectively leveraged social media to bypass traditional media outlets and communicate directly with voters, often circumventing fact-checking and spreading his message unfiltered. Furthermore, Trump benefited from a divided opposition. The Democratic Party, still grappling with internal divisions between its progressive and moderate wings, struggled to present a unified front against Trump's populist appeal. Harris, while a formidable candidate in her own right, faced an uphill battle in uniting the party's diverse constituencies and overcoming the shadow of her predecessor, Joe Biden, whose presidency was perceived by many as ineffective. Trump's campaign also capitalized on a number of external factors that worked in his favor. The global economy, still reeling from the aftershocks of the COVID-19 pandemic and geopolitical instability, created a climate of uncertainty and anxiety that played into Trump's narrative of American decline. He successfully painted himself as a strong leader who could restore order and prosperity, while portraying Harris as weak and out of touch with the concerns of ordinary Americans. The news of Trump's victory sent shockwaves across the United States and beyond, eliciting a spectrum of reactions reflecting the deep divisions within American society and the international community. For his supporters, it was a moment of jubilation, a validation of their beliefs and a repudiation of the political establishment they view as corrupt and out of touch. For his detractors, it was a moment of profound disappointment, even fear, as they grappled with the implications of a second Trump presidency. Prominent Republicans, many of whom had distanced themselves from Trump during his tumultuous first term, were quick to offer their congratulations and express their support for the newly elected president. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, a frequent target of Trump's ire, struck a conciliatory tone, stating that he looked forward to working with the president on issues of shared concern. Other Republicans, emboldened by Trump's victory, echoed his campaign rhetoric, vowing to pursue an aggressive agenda on issues such as immigration, gun control, and abortion. On the Democratic side, the mood was somber. Harris, in a graceful concession speech, acknowledged the results of the election and called for unity and healing. She urged her supporters to respect the democratic process and to continue fighting for the values they hold dear. Other Democrats expressed their disappointment, but vowed to hold Trump accountable and to resist any attempts to roll back the progress made during the Biden administration. The international community reacted to Trump's victory with a mixture of caution and apprehension. Many world leaders, still reeling from Trump's unpredictable foreign policy during his first term, expressed their hope that he would adopt a more measured and diplomatic approach in his second term. Others, particularly those who had clashed with Trump in the past, expressed their concern about the potential for renewed global instability. Section 4, a second act, Trump's vision for America's future. With his return to the White House, Trump faces the task of translating his promises into policies governing a divided nation. His vision centers on economic nationalism, social conservatism, and assertive foreign policy. Trump pledges to revive manufacturing, renegotiate trade deals, and reduce the trade deficit. He promises to boost energy production, rolling back regulations. These policies will face opposition from Democrats and environmental groups. Contentious battles over the economy are expected. Socially, Trump aims to counter the liberal agenda, appointing conservative judges, affecting abortion rights and LGBTQ+ protections. He pledges to crack down on illegal immigration, building a border wall and increasing deportations. These policies will inflame tensions over immigration. Globally, Trump promises to put America first, pursuing a foreign policy based on national interest. He criticizes multilateral institutions like NATO and the UN, and is skeptical about free trade agreements. He signals willingness to use military force, raising concerns about potential conflicts. Section 5, a graceful exit. Harris concedes, but her story continues. In the wake of her defeat, Kamala Harris delivered a concession speech that was both gracious and resolute. Speaking from her alma mater, Howard University, Harris acknowledged the outcome of the election, stating that while she was disappointed, she respected the will of the American people. She congratulated Donald Trump on his victory and called for a peaceful transition of power. However, Harris's speech was more than just a concession. It was a call to action, a reminder that the fight for the values she championed during her campaign, equality, justice, and opportunity for all, was far from over. She urged her supporters, particularly young people, to remain engaged in the political process, to organize, to mobilize, and to never give up hope. This is not the end, Harris declared, her voice filled with emotion. This is just the beginning. We have come too far, fought too hard to let this setback define us. We will pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and continue the fight for the soul of our nation. Harris's concession speech was widely praised for its tone and its message. Even some of her fiercest critics acknowledged the grace and dignity with which she handled defeat. Her words served as a source of inspiration for her supporters, many of whom saw in her a symbol of hope and progress. While her presidential aspirations may have been dashed for now, Harris's political career is far from over. She remains a powerful voice in the Democratic Party and a potential contender for higher office in the future. Section 6. A sea of red Republicans tightened their grip on Congress. Trump's victory in the presidential race was mirrored by significant Republican gains in both houses of Congress, solidifying the party's control of the legislative branch and granting them considerable leverage in shaping the nation's political agenda for the foreseeable future. The GOP's success can be attributed in part to Trump's enduring popularity among his base, which translated into strong down-ballot support for Republican candidates. In the Senate, Republicans successfully defended their majority, picking up several seats previously held by Democrats. The GOP's gains were particularly notable in states that had been considered battlegrounds in recent elections, such as Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Arizona. These victories suggest that Trump's message of economic populism and cultural conservatism continues to resonate with voters in key swing states. The House of Representatives also saw a shift in power, with Republicans expanding their majority. While Democrats had hoped to retake control of the House, their efforts were stymied by a combination of factors, including gerrymandering, low voter turnout among their base, and the enduring appeal of Trump's brand of populism. With control of both chambers of Congress, Republicans are now well positioned to advance their legislative priorities, which include cutting taxes, reducing regulations, and appointing conservative judges to the federal bench. They will also have significant influence over the confirmation process for Trump's cabinet nominees and other key appointments. The GOP's dominance in Congress is likely to have a profound impact on the direction of American politics for years to come.